Why did this movie resonate so much with audiences?
I don't know that I have the answer to that. I kind of struggle with that one.
Anytime you bring a little bit of controversy towards something, people flock to the theater.
Whether people have mixed feelings about it, it is making money.
Join us as we take a quarter century worth of blockbusters and count down the highest grossing all the way to number 1. Coming up, it's Etalk presents the top 25 movies of the last 25 years, part 1.
At number 25 is Incredibles 2, grossing over $1.243 billion at the summer box office back in 2018. The Disney Pixar sequel arrived 14 years after The Incredibles topped the box office back in 2004 and finds Elastigirl enlisted to make the public fall in love with superheroes again. That leaves Mr. Incredible with one of his greatest challenges ever: staying home and taking care of the children, as Violet, Dash, and Jack offer a new set of headaches. A cyber criminal named Screenslaver starts hypnotizing the world through computer screens. I think it's safe to say when you make people wait 14 years for a movie, they're gonna all show up, because now you're bringing two different generations together.
100%, especially when the first one knocked it out of the park. I really think it's a testament to director Brad Bird. I mean, he's phenomenal, and he came back for the sequel, and I think really honored the reason why so many people fell in love with the first.
There hadn't been a week that's gone by since this movie left and I got on social media that somebody's not, where's Incredibles 2? The first movie was just so perfect and so outstanding. It's kind of daunting. It's a daunting task to say, okay, we got to make 2, but how do we make it not only as good as the first one, but just a little bit better?
The first Incredibles, like when you talk about that being a high bar, like I think that is my favorite Pixar movie. Okay, like that is like my number one. I mean, and also like
That's
one of my
bold statement.
I mean, also one of my favorite superhero movies, right?
I have to say what I enjoyed, and which I think was a shocker for a lot of people too, but like the best surprise, that Elastigirl was the focus of Incredibles 2. And because I feel like that was also a time that we were starting to see this new modern life and this shift in our culture, and people were starting to welcome it, where, hey, you know what? The dads can also stay at home and take care of the kids while the mom goes out and is the breadwinner.
It's a chance to get to know these kids on a whole different level, and there's an enrichment and there's a deepening sense of respect and love for his wife that comes out of that. Mr.
Incredible is this awesome superhero, and yet really struggles with the stay-at-home dad duties. And I thought that was so refreshing, that you can be so great at something like saving the world, and yet diaper duty really, really humbles you. And it's just refreshing. Like, this is a movie that kids loved and adults loved, and I think that's why it grossed so high.
So true.
We just never get to see women, you know, doing these superheroic things. To see Mrs. Incredible using her intellect and her imagination and her instincts and her power, her strength, her sense of competition, you know, all of that was just really fun.
The first Incredibles came out before superhero movies were dominating. The new movie, 14 years later, storyline picks up right where the original one ended, but you feel the evolution of superhero movies in its narrative.
Ooh, that's a great point.
Because you think about it, like the first one was about how superheroes were gone for a long time and how do we bring them back. In the second one, it's all about a villain that is producing superhero content, the Screenslaver, right? And literally using superhero content to hypnotize the masses and make them submissive.
And really leaning into it.
It's very meta.
And I think the reason why Incredibles 2 made way more bank at the box office than the first one is because now superhero movies were such a dominant genre. But on the other hand, there's a built-in criticism in Incredibles 2 about superhero movies. And maybe the third one's going to be about how we're all so tired of superhero movies, superhero fatigue.
Rad, don't say that. La 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 la.
At number 24 is Beauty and the Beast, making over $1.266 billion in 2017. This live-action retelling of Disney's classic princess story starred Emma Watson as Belle and featured an all-star cast, including Dan Stevens as Beast, Luke Evans as Gaston, Ewan McGregor as Lumière, Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts, Stanley Tucci as Cadenza, Audra McDonald as Madame de Garderobe, and I could go on and on.
I think Disney kind of knew what they were doing because they saw the success from Jungle Book and all of a sudden they went, I think we have a new formula and we're going to stick to this formula. They also knew that there was a huge fan base from like the 1991. So now those people are adults and guess what? A lot of them have kids now. So once again, if you can attract more than one generation in theaters for a film, like that is a recipe for success.
This Beauty and the Beast and then The Lion King, because there was only a 26-year gap between these movies, you were, like you said, able to tap into the two generations. Also because both Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King are probably the most loved Disney movies of our generation. But like
that's true.
when I grew up as a kid, like that was like the double whammy.
I was 10 years old when I saw it for the first time, and I remember sitting in the theater and vividly, you know, the audience breaking out into applause at the end of Be Our Guest or Gaston or Beauty and the Beast, the song. And that, to me, bringing those songs to life was the coolest part of this experience.
I think the original is untouchable. I grew up as a Disney kid. I had this VHS. It is still at my mom's house somewhere in Ottawa in a box from my childhood.
Yeah.
It was so worn out. I watched it so many times, you guys. Belle was such a unique Disney character at the time when
agree.
you compare her to all the other traditional princesses.
For sure.
But as a huge Harry Potter fan, I would follow Hermione absolutely
Anywhere.
She really is kind of the sacred part of people's childhoods. I mean, people have memories of watching the film that go back as long as they can remember. And I mean, I have friends who are literally like, are you gonna wear the blue dress with the apron? I'm like, yes. You know, and it's like, you know, you want to do right by that.
But it's interesting to know that she actually turned down La La Land to
Right.
take this role on because this was like her dreamland. But you know what? She would have won either way.
Right.
La La Land went on to win so many awards, but I feel like she did herself justice by taking this role.
I don't know. I think she maybe should have done La La Land. Really?
I feel like we got to point out that the original animated movie was the first animated movie to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscar. Okay,
Wow,
so
I didn't know
like
that.
is how
Oh, damn.
big a shadow
Okay.
it
Yeah.
casts.
Yeah.
And I wanted to jump on something you were saying because you said the original, that was your Disney feminist princess. Like that
Yeah.
was a shift for you.
I really also loved Mulan, but this one was a unique, we're talking a slight departure for Disney at the time, where the female protagonist was
Yeah.
less dependent on a man, a prince coming to save
And let's be
I
honest,
think
the
you're
introduction to the
underselling the
prince wasn't
departure.
always
Okay.
I think you're underselling the departure when you think about that original, like the Beauty and the Beast, the Belle singing, like you know, it's both a tale as old as time, but it's also I'm done with this provincial life. Like she doesn't want to be waiting around for a dude, unlike all the princesses before her. The original had Belle as a really strong character, but in the end, she still needed rescuing from the Beast. So
Yeah.
there's an interesting contradiction there, and the live action seems to be ironing out the contradiction for the people who find
Yeah.
it upsetting rather than fascinating.
But see, that's what I think created such a great buzz around the movie too, because anytime you bring a little bit of controversy towards something, people flock to the theaters because they're like,
Right.
I want to see it for myself.
Don't forget there was a boycott.
Yeah.
Right? Or like some theaters were boycotting the movie, I think, you know, because
is
of the
wrong with
Josh
this
Gad
world?
character.
Josh Gad, of course, played LeFou, one of Disney's firsts. I say first with parentheses because we don't really know how many firsts there are, but openly gay characters. About time.
This is exactly the controversy that led some theaters in the South to say, no, we're not screening this movie. And yet,
Dare we go back to the number that Chloe just introduced the film with, like over $1 billion. That goes to show that everybody is ready to evolve. Number 23 on the list is Frozen. Released in late 2013, the film collected over $1.286 billion over its box office run and held the title of highest grossing animated film for about 6 years. The movie follows Anna, voiced by Kristen Bell, who sets off on a journey with Kristoff, voiced by Jonathan Groff, and the snowman, Olaf, voiced by Josh Gad, to find her estranged sister Elsa, voiced by Idina Menzel, who sings a very famous song in the film. Should we say that this film actually was as popular as it was because of the songs? Or this new take on the sister love and a complete departure from the classic Disney that we have seen?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes.
I mean, Frozen rewrote the rule book when it comes to princesses.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's so much love in this, but it's no longer about a significant other. That's not the catalyst to saving the kingdom. No, this is familial love between two sisters, supporting each other, rooting for each other. It was so different, and yes, the music was infectious.
I've watched all the Disney movies growing up, and I am such a huge fan of animation, so to actually voice a character was really special.
I was looking at it just the other day, and sure enough, like Let It Go comes on, and my daughter heard it from like the basement and came running upstairs. Like, is this song still like back in our lives? Like, and just, it's a magnet for them. They got Broadway stars to belt out these tunes, right? And Dina Menzel, Jonathan Groff, and again, those songs hit hard. Like Let It Go hit hard. All of them hit hard.
They wrote Thinking with Me in Mind, which then gives me the opportunity to just soar on the song. And they're such great writers that, you know, I don't have to think too much about it.
I love that narrative of this not being like your traditional Disney princesses is actually written into the story. Anna subscribes to the Disney princess narrative, right? She wants to fall in love as fast as possible, and she's totally into that till she discovers that it's really about sisterly loves. It's a beautiful way to challenge it within the plot of the story.
I think she's pretty unconventional and new and different from the others. I think she's more complicated, and, you know, I don't think we've seen a character just like her before.
You know, when movies are big, you see it a lot in Halloween costumes.
Yes.
But those costumes, kids are wearing them all year round. Yeah. Whether it's warm or cold, like that's how much these characters mean to these kids. I'll be honest, as a mom to an almost 2-year-old, I still have not introduced him to Frozen the movie, but he knows the music through daycare. And now I have to listen to that song all the time, and it's too much.
It's found the magical formula to both recapture the magic of Disney's past while being more progressive. Because like Frozen came out after, like, you know, Disney had been struggling. Like they were eclipsed by everything Pixar was doing. They kind of ditched the musical animated formula, and then Frozen came back raging, you know, with bringing that same formula back. But again, making it about these women characters, making it about their sisterly bond, making it about how they process trauma, as opposed to like the big narrative plot of going up and down that damn mountain. Right? You know,
and dealing with grief.
Yeah.
That was actually a huge standout for me on how they dealt with grief. There's these two sisters who've lost their parents. I mean, people don't talk about stuff like that. There are lots of children and kids and adults out there who've lost their parents at a young age. And like, there's just so many little nuggets that I feel like so many people were able to relate to.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't need a man to build your castle. That was mine.
Or melt it.
Yeah, you bring in a man and he's gonna melt it.
Yeah, he's gonna melt it. And Frozen 3 is coming. So
yes, it is. Get ready. Get your wallets ready.
Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom takes the number 22 spot on the list, tallying over $1.31 billion over the summer of 2018. It's the second installment in the Jurassic World franchise, following the Jurassic Park trilogy of the 90s and early 2000s. The movie takes place 3 years after the theme park was closed down, when the island's dormant volcano roars to life, and Owen and Claire, played by Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, mount a campaign to rescue the dinosaurs from an extinction-level event. Why did this movie resonate so much with audiences?
You know, I don't know that I have the answer to that. I kind of struggle with that one. I mean, you have generational audiences who are, you know, the younger audiences who are new to Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, this whole franchise. And then, of course, the people who have a lot of affection, who were there for the original Jurassic Park. And, you know, we got to speak about, like, just how great the original Jurassic Park is. That
So
to me,
good.
I mean, to me, that is the last great, truly great blockbuster. And when I say truly great blockbuster, I mean like in terms of a big budget spectacle that's pushing the medium forward in terms of its technology, in terms of its thrills, but also just brilliant critical filmmaking from Steven Spielberg, who packs that movie with all of these ideas. One of the ideas he builds into that movie is prophesizing how successful Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is going to be. Because if you remember the original movie, it's about how this theme park, which is basically a metaphor for the movie itself, is going to be exploited. It's going to be marketed. They're going to sell lunchboxes after it. They're going to beat that horse till it's dead. And so the original great Jurassic Park foretold the moment that Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom will keep going.
Yeah. He literally brainwashed all of us with the original, because honestly, I was sold with the original as well. When it came out, I think it's safe to say I probably watched it multiple times in theater because I was like, I can't get enough of this movie. But then I will be honest, I wasn't sold. Like, this is one of those movies where I was like, do we need to keep the dinosaurs alive for this long? Like, let's be real. Like, I'm serious. I'm not saying kill them all.
Yeah.
I'm not
Can we at least
condoning
keep
violence.
Blue alive?
We can keep
I
Blue
love
alive.
Blue. Blue has a conscience.
But like, how
She's
much
saying
wilder?
this as a new Jurassic World is just hitting theaters now.
I
But
know,
yeah, let's kill
I
all
know,
the dinosaurs.
I know.
yeah.
But here's the thing: like, how much wilder is the main dinosaur is going to get? Like, more clever, more violent, more. I'm like, let's just retire this thing. Like, this is getting a little bit old for me. However, I will say, the song, the theme song for the. I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong. It's in my head. I feel like that's what always draws me in. But Chris Pratt, I didn't understand him as a scientist. I couldn't.
Guys, hot people can be smart.
See, that's where I feel like that's
Hey,
where
Laura
you
Dern
can only.
was pretty hot in the original.
Yes, Laura Dern. Like,
I
oh
mean,
my
like,
God.
Listen,
you know.
I will keep watching all Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Jurassic Universe movies as long
Oh
as
my
Jeff
gosh.
Goldblum is in it.
Exactly. And
Jeff
speaking of hot
Goldblum-
scientists, by
yeah,
the way.
yeah. He's
That's
like
true.
the hottest. What might be one of my celebrity crushes.
I know, but he
TBH.
only made a cameo in
It's
this one.
enough.
I
I
wanted
just need I need like a
more.
little taste of Jeff in a Jurassic World movie,
Yeah.
and I'm good.
Okay, fair.
Whether people have mixed feelings about it, it is making money, and it's gonna keep making money as long as they
guess.
keep making the movies. So,
Well, this is where I will be saving my money.
And they're going to keep selling the lunchboxes. So.
Landing at number 21 is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, tallying over $1.334 billion at the box office. Released in 2018, the second film in the Star Wars sequel trilogy saw legends like Mark Hamill and the late Carrie Fisher return once again to the roles of Luke Skywalker and General Leia, aka Princess Leia. Carrie passed at the age of 60 before the film's release.
I don't know if you remember how many haters this movie inspired. They hate this movie for exactly the reasons why I actually enjoyed this movie.
Of course you do.
know what I mean?
because you're a wonderfully kind,
Yeah, he loves to stir
progressive,
the
modern
pot.
individual.
Dad loves to
You
stir
love
the
love. You love all the things.
yeah. They hated this movie because it made people from diverse backgrounds, marginalized backgrounds, made them heroes in this story.
This franchise is so much bigger than anything each individual of us can do. Like, Star Wars is so much bigger than all of us, and we all get to be a part of it. And so it's pretty incredible.
You know, if you think about The Force Awakens, the one that is, like up there, made almost
So
$1 billion
good.
more. That was a J.J. Abrams movie where he was very satisfied with trying to recreate the original Star Wars formula. Like, a lot of it was the most engineered fan service to once again please the fans. Whereas this movie, The Last Jedi, is directed by Rian Johnson.
Talented
He's a
guy.
very talented guy. And if you look at this movie, he's not just paying homage to like Star Wars aesthetics. Like, you have the scene in the red chamber room where they face off with the big baddie, and it's all red, and that's inspired by Akira Kurosawa's movies like Ran and stuff. Akira Kurosawa being the filmmaker who inspired Star Wars with The Hidden Fortress. And then you have callbacks to like classics like Wings and Citizen Kane in a lot of these shots. So if J.J. Abrams was expressing his fandom of Star Wars movies, Rian Johnson is expressing his fandom in this movie of all the cinema that came before Star Wars
Right.
and inspired Star Wars.
This is the one where we've established all these fun characters, we've thrown this big adventure forward, and now we're going to slow down a little bit and really challenge them and see what they're made out of and get inside their heads a little bit more.
I have to say my favorite moment was watching Carrie Fisher because this was her last role right before she did pass away. Rest in peace. Like, that drew me, was the OG factor that was coming back into this.
She has done what she always has been. She's like the core, part of the core of Star Wars. She was always that. She will always be that. So it's more emotional watching it, but her performance is beautiful regardless.
Guys, I have to admit something.
What's that?
I have never watched Star Wars.
Oh my gosh.
Any of them?
I am intimidated. There's so many.
There's
the
so many.
timelines are confusing. Is it
Yes.
a trilogy? Is it a prequel? Is it like a prequel sequel trilogy? All I know is that I enjoy the lightsabers.
Yes.
Right.
And Adam Driver is really hot as a bad guy.
Okay, you know what? I feel like you've watched the movie.
Yeah.
Thank you. And everyone be nice to John Boyega, please.
Yes, please.
The way you guys feel about Jurassic World and how you want the dinosaurs to die. Like, is there an end in sight for Star Wars, or will
No.
this continue forever?
Because of this movie, they lost a lot of Star Wars fandom, so it doesn't have the same clout that they used to. They can't just churn this stuff out the way they did. What this movie did really well is throwing out a lot of that old stuff. One of the early shots of this movie is Rey bringing a lightsaber, this precious lightsaber, back to Luke, and he just
So
chucks
good.
the lightsaber behind.
I
He's just
know,
like,
rude.
he's like, let me be done
What are
with
you
it.
doing, Luke Skywalker?
But-
What's happened to you?
But see, that is the announcement of this whole movie. We're like, we're gonna get rid of all this stuff you guys hold dear. We are gonna try something new. We are not just gonna placate to your expectations. The Force can belong to anyone, wherever they come from.
All right, we've made it to number 20 on our countdown. We've already covered superheroes, dinosaurs, Jedis, and multiple Disney princesses. But we've got to pause it here for now. Look out for part 2.